Found another man's shirt in the laundry after my wife's return from Bachelorette Party. She claims it's nothing, but I'm not so sure. Hey Reddit. I'm 34M and my wife is 31F. We've been married for 7 years, and I thought everything was going great. Recently, she went to her best friend's bachelorette party. I didn't think much of it because I trust her, and honestly, she's never given me a reason not to. The party was out of town, and she stayed overnight with her girlfriends. When she got home the next day, she seemed fine, maybe just a bit tired, but nothing out of the ordinary. Fast forward to laundry day. I'm sorting the clothes when I come across a man's button-up shirt. It's not mine. It's a size medium, and I'm a large. It's also a brand I've never bought before. I figured it had to be a mistake, so I asked her about it. She shrugged it off and said it must have gotten mixed in with her stuff somehow. Maybe at the hotel or someone else's bag? She said it wasn't a big deal and told me to just toss it or give it to charity. Something about her reaction didn't sit right with me. She was too nonchalant, and that's not like her. My wife is usually the first to get annoyed when something seems out of place. She hates clutter and misplaced items, yet here she was, acting like a strange man's shirt in our laundry wasn't worth a second thought. I let it go at the moment, but it's been eating at me. I don't want to jump to conclusions, but I also don't want to ignore my gut. I know Reddit can be harsh on situations like this, but I genuinely don't know if I'm overthinking or if this is a red flag. What would you do? Update. Thanks for all the feedback. I didn't expect so many responses, and I appreciate the advice and perspective. After reading through your comments, I decided I couldn't just sit on this. I had to get some answers, so I brought it up again. This time, I was more direct. I told her the shirt was bothering me and asked if there was anything she wanted to tell me. She looked annoyed and said, "I already told you it's probably a mix-up from the party. Why are you making a big deal out of this?" That's when I mentioned how odd it felt that a random shirt would just end up in our laundry, especially since I did all the laundry after she got back. She didn't have much to say other than, "I don't know, maybe it was from one of the girl's boyfriends or something." At this point, I asked if she could show me photos from the trip. She loves taking pictures, and she had been texting me about how much fun they were having. She said her phone battery died during the trip, so she didn't take many pictures. That struck me as odd because she's always glued to her phone. I still wasn't satisfied. I told her it just seemed strange and that her vague answers were making me feel uneasy. She snapped and said I was being paranoid and insecure, then stormed off. Later, I reached out to one of her friends who was at the party. I casually asked her about the weekend and mentioned the shirt, hoping she'd say something that would explain it. She laughed and said, "Oh yeah, that was wild. One of the girls brought her boyfriend's shirt for some reason, and it must have ended up with us. That's probably it." I wanted to believe her, but the story didn't add up. Why would someone bring their boyfriend's shirt to a bachelorette party? It felt like a convenient excuse. I'm starting to feel like I'm not getting the full truth here. Another update. Things have gotten tense. My wife and I aren't talking much right now. Every time I bring up the shirt, she shuts me down or accuses me of overthinking. I feel like I'm hitting a wall, and it's exhausting. I decided to take a different approach. I looked into our shared phone account to check if there was anything unusual about her calls or texts over the weekend. I don't usually do this, but something about the whole situation has me feeling paranoid. I noticed a lot of texts to a number I didn't recognize, especially late at night during the trip. The messages stopped the day she got back. I didn't confront her right away. Instead, I called the number from my phone, but it went straight to voicemail. It's a generic recording with no name. That night, I asked her about the number. She looked caught off guard and then said it was one of the girls she had met during the trip. She claimed they had exchanged numbers to keep in touch. I asked why the messages suddenly stopped after the trip, and she got defensive again, saying I was being ridiculous. At this point, I felt like I had no choice but to ask directly if she had been unfaithful. She got furious and started yelling, accusing me of being controlling and distrustful. She even said she couldn't believe I'd question her loyalty after all these years. I don't know what to believe anymore. I want to trust her, but her reactions feel off. She's never been this defensive before, and it's making me second-guess everything. Final update. I didn't want to end things without answers, so I decided to hire a private investigator. It felt extreme, but I couldn't shake the feeling that something wasn't right. I needed to know the truth, even if it hurt. The investigator didn't take long to come back with information. Turns out, my wife did meet someone during the trip. The man was a friend of one of the other women's boyfriends. They hit it off and spent a lot of time together over the weekend. According to the investigator, there's no evidence that they slept together, but they were definitely more than friendly. When I confronted her with this, she broke down and admitted she had lied. She said she didn't want to ruin our marriage over a stupid mistake. She insisted it was just innocent flirting and that nothing physical happened, but the fact that she had been hiding it and lying to me was enough to shatter my trust. We've been having long, difficult conversations about where we go from here. She's apologized and wants to work on things, but I'm not sure if I can move past this. It's not just about the shirt anymore, it's about the lies and the way she handled everything. For now, I'm staying at a friend's place to clear my head. I don't know what the future holds for us, but I need time to decide if this marriage is worth saving. Thanks to everyone who shared advice and support. This has been one of the hardest experiences of my life, but knowing I wasn't alone helped me get through it.